Hi, Tired. This is Matthew and Ryan, and we are Dadcast. How you doing tonight, Ryan?
Woo! Doing good. Third time's the charm.
Good. I'm glad we finally got the intro taken care of.
Yes.
For the viewers that don't know, we had to retry this intro from technical difficulties and from me just not knowing how to talk.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Which, according to the second time, technical difficulties and you not being able to talk are apparently the same thing, because apparently you're a robot. But only specifically when you're on the toilet.
So, right, only on the toilet.
Yes.
Because as viewers know, you take morning shits, I take nighttime shits.
Yes.
And that's exactly when we're recording the podcast.
Okay. And for anybody that's keeping track, that is it's 4 for 4. We are now 4 for 4 with talking about the bathroom at the beginning of an episode.
Is this going to be an every time thing, talking about bathroom habits and how our bathroom habits have been going since last time?
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Moving forward, how was your week, Ryan?
It was pretty good. It does not feel like it's been a week, to be completely honest. It literally felt like yesterday I set up the stuff to post the episode that came out, whatever week this was. I'm not gonna date it. Just so everybody knows, it's not happening. And then it felt like the day before that was when we were, recording the previous episode. So I don't know. Very, very strange week that just kind of flew by. But yeah, everything's good. Family's good. Work is good.
Nice.
I've been kind of tired as shit.
Understandable.
Throughout most of the week for whatever reason. Not sure why, but
gotcha.
Still good.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Glad to hear everything's all going good.
Yeah. What about
my
you?
week has, my week's been okay. Officially got glasses, so I feel like an old piece of shit. But so things are getting better for me, and I can actually see. And I realized how much I couldn't see before, and I got glasses so I could drive better, right?
Yeah.
And when I was coming home from getting the glasses, I was so busy looking at other stuff I wasn't able to see before. I almost ran a couple red lights. So it kind of hurt me.
That sounds about right.
Right? I was looking over, I was like, look at that bush. Look at those clouds. Look at this car. Oh, God.
They're all in 4K.
Right? Graphic update.
You moved up to the next generation of eye consoles.
That's right. It's like Apple with like the eye in front of it.
Eyeball.
Fun stuff.
the eye, and it's just
the eye.
They have to like specify.
That sounds like a Pokemon.
It's there's an actual animal called an eye.
Oh yeah, and they based that animal off of one of the other Pokemon that just came out in this new generation.
They based the animal off
Grafai.
They based the animal off the Pokemon.
The other way around. They based the Pokemon off the animal.
Whoa! We genetically modified an animal in order to make it look like a Pokemon.
Honestly, with this day and age, I wouldn't be surprised.
Welcome to Park.
Oh gosh, the Park bit. No. I can totally see that happening, and I would totally go to that park. And if they went wild, I would totally die. But you know what? I would be okay with it.
Yeah, that's when you have an Aerodactyl come in and start, or the flock of gaggle. I don't know. It's something of Aerodactyls coming in, and like picking people up off the ground. A murder of Aerodactyls. There you go. Okay, I found out that a group of ferrets is called a business of ferrets. Really? So it can be a business of Aerodactyls.
Nice. Speaking of like technical terms, did you know, I believe it's guinea pigs, that a male guinea pig is called a buck and a female guinea pig is called a doe. I may be wrong with it being a guinea pig, but I'm pretty sure it's a guinea pig, and it's just super weird because like those are deer, not guinea pigs.
Yeah, that sounds not right.
Yes, and they're also susceptible to scurvy, which you hear a lot of pirates. So scurvy is the lack of vitamin C, and a lot of bad things happen. So yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and start with this episode. This episode, we are going to make it a Valentine's Day special of some sorts. I say some sorts as you may come to find out at the end of this podcast how we really feel about Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
but I thought we'd take some time. Yep. So I think we should talk about how we met our wives and dedicate the first part of this episode to them because they do play in a very important role in our lives. And I think that it'll be good to start on a happy note, and then we start talking about how we really feel about Valentine's Day. So would you like to start first on how you met your wife?
Yeah. First, it started I did not date anybody. Obviously not by choice. Why? Well, I guess it was by choice, but it was not by my choice.
Because you're homeschooled a lot, huh?
It was only like 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like it was a lot longer than that. I don't know why I made it like it was forever that you're homeschooled.
Yes, we became friends in kindergarten, and then first grade I was homeschooled. And no, I think it was halfway through fourth grade. I think so. It was like 4.5 years.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I remember.
Yeah, it was like roughly around that time frame. I think. I don't. That has nothing to do with. Anyways.
Yeah, we got off topic already.
Well, I guess if you want to include that really quick, is like I've always been kind of a helpless or hopeless romantic. And that all started with me being homeschooled, where I lost the capability to socialize even on the most basic of, socialization functions towards any human being, let alone a pretty female. So there's that. But yeah, so like I didn't have my first date or my first relationship until I was in high school. And it was not with my current wife, which, we live and we learn. But so my first girlfriend and I dated until I think about halfway through freshman year of college. Actually, now that I think about it, I was dumped, I think the week before Valentine's Day, so very much like right around the time that we are recording this episode.
Oh, dang.
So, happy anniversary. I'm just kidding. Happy
anniversary of what?
Happy dumpiversary.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of the words for that. I was like, what do you call an anniversary when you got dumped?
Yes, we'll call it that, and it can share a name with what I do every morning and what you do every night. Anyways, back on topic. So that ended up happening. But I just so happened to be going to the same university that this wonderful woman I now call my wife also went to. And our friend circle was, the only friends I really had at that time were the two people, the two guys that I knew in high school that also went to that university. So when I say our social circles were kind of the same, I basically mean the two people I was friends with were friends with some of like the other like Catholic people on campus, and she was one of the Catholic people on campus. So yeah. But basically, we same year in the same college, eventually had a class together, which was English 2. I forget if, how the seating chart arrangement thing kind of went, if it had been changed like before, like we ended up sitting in this particular like situation or not. But basically the way that a lot of the classrooms were set up, or at least like this one in particular was set up this way, was kind of like conference type setup. So kind of think of, the room was kind of a big rectangular shape, and then they had like a line of tables set up in kind of a U shape, and at the top of the U there was like a podium, and like where like the microphone and stuff was for if somebody was giving a presentation. And so it was kind of set up that way. All of us as the students were at the actual tables in that U shape, right? And it just so happened that I was on one side of the U, and Mandy, my now wife, was on the other side of the U, and we were kind of like right across from each other. And as many situations where two people think that each other are very cute tend to kind of do, they will kind of throw like flirty glances towards each other.
Oh, you were throwing flirty glances?
Well, okay, like not directly at each other. Like it wasn't like she was looking at me and I was like, "Hey, baby!" Like I said,
like licking your lips.
Like, oh God, no, definitely not doing that.
Hey, baby.
Doing like the like come hither like look, and like I put my finger up and do like the slow like come here like thing slowly, or like none of that was going on.
Got it.
No, like as I mentioned, I had no social like capabilities like prior to high school, and like I still wasn't great at like social stuff like at this point.
So was it you just staring at her across the way, just scared? It's like with big wide eyes, and that's what you thought was flirting. And she was like, "Is he okay?"
That's what I thought was flirting. And then we flirted, and somebody would ask her like the story, and she'd be like, "Yeah, he like fell on the ground and was like having a seizure." Like I don't know, like he was slamming his head against the table,
right,
and laughing maniacally like a clown. I don't know. It wasn't flirting, whatever it was. No.
Oh gosh.
Like, what I kind of mean is like, like if you kind of have like an attraction towards like somebody, or like a crush on somebody, back then, like in school, you kind of like look across the classroom at them, kind of inconspicuously, and then if like they turned and were like kind of started to look in your direction, you'd like look away really quickly, like, oh, I hope they didn't see me, like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the two of us basically did that, like towards each other, like back and forth. And one of my friends' roommates, who we were also friends with, was sitting next to her. And at one point, like I'm sitting there and I'm kind of like looking at her, kind of like almost daydream, like, like, she's really pretty. And then I kind of like look over at him because he's sitting next to her, and he's just staring like dead ass, like staring at me, like, dude, what are you like? What are you doing? And then he like looks over at her, looks over at me, looks at her, looks back at me, and is like, oh.
Pieces it together.
And I'm just like, I look at him and I'm just like, no, just shut up. And like he just kind of has this look on his face and just like, I get it, I see what's going on. But yeah, so we kind of just did that for like a little while. Like neither of the two of us really like spoke to each other. And then I think it was probably like a month or 2 months after that. So my wife was on a it was a Catholic university, so there was like a Catholic like outreach like retreat team that she was a part of. I ended up joining that team as well our junior year, but I did not even know about it before going to school there, and then did not like. I again wasn't very social, so I was like, I don't want to do it, like my sophomore year. But I ended up deciding to do it my junior year. Great experience, but that's not the point.
Nice.
But anyways, so she was on that team, and they had like an awards ceremony, so to speak, each year at the end of the year. Everybody on the team was required to bring a date, and so.
Did you make a move?
Yeah, so around this time,
nice.
Mandy sends me a text message. Keep in mind, we hadn't really like spoken to each other much, like directly at this point. And so I get this text message out of the blue from a number I do not recognize. And it's basically just like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, good.
Not today, ISIS.
Who are I know it's you, Osama. It's like, yeah, it's just like I had no idea who it was, and like I think she even like invited me to the awards before I even knew who it was. And I was just kind of like, yeah, what? Oh, sure, whatever. Like, who is this? And then finally, it was like, oh, this is Mandy. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, for all I knew, I just said like, yeah, I'll go with you. And then it ends up being like Michael Myers or like Freddy Krueger. Like,
right.
I like signed my soul over to be like tortured for all eternity.
Right.
But yeah, so like. I decided to do that, and I accepted her request to join her on that. So we started to kind of hang out before then a little bit, and we're kind of digging each other. We thought each of us thought the other one was pretty cool. I don't know why she thought that of me, but I can't complain. And I kind of ended up finding out during this portion in time. So, well, I guess I kind of already knew it because there was a point in time where, like, before like we were like really getting like close, we were like at lunch with everybody. So we're like sitting at the table, we're eating, and like she says something to me. Or like in my direction, and says like, yeah, like Mike would know. And I'm just like, not like I ignore it because like my name's not Mike.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, isn't that right, Mike? Hey, Mike, isn't that right? And then finally, like,
Did
I
she
look
think
over,
your name was Mike?
and she thought my name was Mike. Apparently, so one of my friends from high school that she knew also, he had introduced us at one point. This was like the first time we ever like met, like formally introduced us. And he said like, and this is Ryan. And for some reason she thought he said, and this is Mike. So she had even been like telling people like, oh yeah, that friend of his name is Mike. Or like, yeah, that guy over there, that's Mike. And so like everybody thought my name was Mike. That like so luckily, it wasn't too far off of the fact that like my middle name is Michael. So like, it's not like, oh yeah, this dude's name was like Ryan Gabriel, and she called him Mike, or like some weird like thing like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was still like really funny. But yeah, so we started to get kind of closer. We became friends. And then, we started to kind of become more than friends. And towards the end of the year, kind of after that, like, awards thing and stuff, we decided to start dating. And
nice.
So we had our first date. It was, like, the last day of the school year. So we'd, like, packed up, like, all of our stuff from the dorms. And we were basically, like, taking all of our stuff back home for the summer. So she met me at... technically where I lived, which was with my mom. And so she technically like met my mom on her like first date.
Oh, nice.
So that wasn't nearly as bad as what she did to me, where I went over to her house, I think on our second date. So I was thinking like, okay, like, yeah, I'm gonna have to meet like her parents, and her younger brother still lived at home because he was in high school. So like, I would meet him too. No. So we ended up going over to her grandpa's house, and I met basically that whole side of the family on the second date.
Oh, wow.
Including her older brother and her friends, like all in the same day at the same time. And
clearly you survived.
Yes.
So they must like you.
Yes. My bigger concern with whether or not I lived or not would have been like having an anxiety attack from like all of the stuff happening at once. It was almost like, and you know how this is because you've gotten married. It's like at the wedding, you know, like during the reception, where you literally do not even get an opportunity to like sit down and eat or like do something on your own,
Yep.
because like it's literally people just coming up and bombarding you and, oh my goodness, congratulations, how are you, how's the stuff going on, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Leave
Constantly.
me alone. This is too much.
We didn't even get to eat our cake. Like, we only had that little piece of it, and then the person cut up our cake wrong and gave it out to everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Oh shit! you guys too?
Mm-hmm.
Because at ours, we don't even have the top to our cake. We asked them to save it.
Mm-hmm. We did too.
And and we don't have it anymore. So they just never gave it to us because I guess they did something with it. I don't know. But yeah, it was basically a lot like that, where, you know, I was there and like her family was like constantly like talking to me and like asking me questions and like probing me on the deep, dark recesses and secrets of my life.
Oh gosh, interrogation.
Yeah, but yeah, it all went well. I lived, but so basically, we dated like all the way through college. We actually got engaged. I asked her to marry me our junior year of college. She said yes. Haha, what a fool. I'm just kidding. No, she said yes. I am the fool, and I'm very lucky that she did say yes. But yeah, so we ended up. So we planned on getting married not immediately after college was over, but we essentially planned like work a year, like get jobs, work a year, get married the summer following that. And so that's what we did. She got a teaching job like here in Oklahoma. I had that really shitty job that I mentioned before in a previous podcast episode. Go rewatch it if you haven't listened.
Yes.
That shitty job out in Arkansas, which like for all intents and purposes, with as bad as that job was, it did really set us up like financially to be able to actually like enjoy having a honeymoon. And like she actually got into an car accident the morning of our wedding.
I remember that.
Yes. And so they had hit a retaining wall and the car flipped. Is basically, I forget the exact, but essentially she sort of got like pit maneuvered, and it like spun the car out. They hit a retaining wall and flipped, so that car was basically toast.
And if I remember correctly, it's like when she was trying to come onto a highway and all that, right?
I think she was on the highway already, and there was somebody else coming on.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and so but basically we did not have a car, so we were borrowing her aunt and uncle's car, or one of their extra cars. And when we got back from our honeymoon, we actually ended up buying the car from them. And so that was
nice.
Actually my first car that I ended up blasting the front of into the back of another car years later.
Gosh.
That is not a story for now. That's a story for another time. But
right.
I don't have a very good track. I'm a pretty good driver, but I don't have a good track record with making sure the front end of my cars don't hit things. Who knows? Maybe I was like, my eyesight is beautiful. Oh, 4K! Like, look at that bush.
Right.
So exactly. Yeah. So we were able to go on like a nice honeymoon, like to Hawaii, which we didn't go immediately after we got married. We actually drove out to you and Michaela's wedding in Colorado. I think about a month after ours.
Yeah, it was like maybe 3 weeks after.
Yeah, so somewhere around there. So we went to go and be there for that, and then we actually flew out from Colorado to go and spend some time on our honeymoon in Hawaii, which was very great. Yeah. It's still, I think, my favorite trip that I've ever taken. Was getting to I'm a huge road trip fan, so getting to kind of like road trip like out and like up to Colorado for your guys' wedding, and then getting to be out in Hawaii, which is Maui is absolutely beautiful. That would be my suggestion for anybody that wants to go to Hawaii. Go to Maui. Not quite.
Is that the Big Island or
no? So the Big Island is like sort of like one of the big like touristy like. Apparently, I'm being told it's a volcano. And yeah, it's constantly erupting. I think it was actually erupting when we were
a while ago.
It was actually erupting when we were in Maui. Yeah. So my wife is here, and she's wanting me to tell these two different news stories that came up while we were there. One of them was like kind of a one-time story, and a bit on the tragic side. The other one was this ridiculous like saga that lasted like a couple of days while we were there. So the first one, the volcano on the Big Island was erupting while we were there, as I just mentioned. So obviously, eruption, there's lava spewing out of it, right? And there was a tour boat, like off of the Big Island, that actually got hit by the lava as the mountain was erupting. And if memory serves me right, like sadly, like obviously, like the boat went down, and I believe some people, if not all the people on that boat, actually died, which is really sad.
Oh my goodness!
It's like it was a really crazy like story though, because it was like that's not something you really think about. I mean, for one, something that like could happen, but even going on vacation, like taking like a tour boat and like stuff, that's not something you think, oh yeah, like there's a risk of us getting hit by like flying lava from a volcano,
right?
Like on our tour boat, like so it was just like super like crazy,
So did you guys take a tour boat after that?
I forget if it was before or after, but we did take a tour boat to go snorkeling. I believe it was after that story, which we didn't even get to. The seas were really rough that day. This is a side story, like an extra special story, I guess. So we got on the boat in the morning, right? And it's supposed to take us to like 3 spots, and it was like perfectly fine. Everything was perfectly fine. So to preface this story too, this isn't my first time being out on a boat in the ocean. In high school, I took a trip out with my like physics class to Houston to go see the like NASA Space Center, and somebody had a family member. Somebody in our group had a family member down there that had I think it was an uncle maybe that had a boat, and so he actually took us out on the boat. Like out into the ocean, the Gulf, for a little bit, and then like we came back in. I was perfectly fine then, and then in college, a group of us took a trip out to the west, and some of us got on a boat that went out into the ocean for whale watching, and so that was my second time being out on a boat in the ocean. Again, it was totally fine. So I'm thinking, oh, this will be fun. This will be a fantastic time. We're going to go out and snorkel at like these 3 different locations. We're going to travel on boat, like over the ocean to these places. It's going to be fun. So we get on the boat in the morning. Keep in mind, I think this was like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that, I think. And it was like, okay, these waves are like a little bit more rough than like I've experienced before. And the captain comes on like the intercom, does like all of like the introductory stuff, like telling us what we're going to do and things like that, and then also tells us like, and we're going to be keeping an eye on everything because the waves are like a bit rough today, much rougher than like they normally are, so we'll kind of like play it by ear. And it's like, okay, like cool. So while we're on the boat and we're kind of like on the way, Mandy starts to not feel very well. Which,
seasick?
Like, yeah, not necessarily like something that would be surprising because plenty of people get seasick, especially with them saying like the waves were like more rough than normal, like makes sense. And so that also was in combination with the fact that she was pregnant at the time and starting to experience some sickness. So that kind of like doubled on top of that. But we end up getting to the first location. We snorkel, and then they call us like back onto the boat, and they're like, yeah, so we're not going to the other two locations. So instead, complimentary, I think 1 drink per person or something like that, complimentary, or 2 drinks per person, complimentary drinks. And then, here's like the food bar, and like, we're serving food and things like that, which is like, okay, like that kind of sucks, like, but we have to do what we have to do. On the way back, I too start to feel sick. So both of us are absolutely miserable. I'm smelling the food from the bar, and it makes me want to vomit. And I'm like leaning over the side of the boat, basically whispering to the heavens, like, God, please let me puke. Let me puke, please. And my wife is in a different location because there are plenty of people on the sides of the boat now. She's in a different area over the side of the boat, actually puking.
Oh gosh.
And she tells me after the fact that like she goes over to this like empty spot, she's like kind of over the edge, she pukes. And she looks over at the family next to her. I think she said it was like a mom and dad and like a little boy. So she pukes. She looks over at them, and they kind of like look over at her, like, and they like get up and move, like away, just so they're not like near her while she's doing that.
Oh gosh.
And so obviously, like, what started as like a really fun like snorkeling trip, kind of devolved
turned into a series of events.
Yeah. So it was like, I don't even know. It was like 11 o'clock or something, or noon, like when we got back to shore. And they were like, yeah, I hope you all like, go like get some rest or, whatever. And Mandy and I look at each other and we're like, we're going back to the hotel and we're going to rest. Because we were going to a luau that night. And it just so happened that the luau was at the hotel, so we were like, yeah, we can just go back to the hotel, relax a little bit, rest, and then, try to feel better by the time of the luau, which we did end up feeling better before then, so we had a really good time at the luau, but yeah, it was...
That's good.
Yeah, it was it was an interesting experience. It was really fun snorkeling. I kind of wish the waves weren't so bad and that we didn't get so sick, but it was a good time. Aside from all the other stuff. But
nice.
We did that, and we came home, started our lives together, ended up having our son some months after that. Then we've had a daughter since then as well, and we've been very happily married now and have very much enjoyed the time that we have spent together and the many more years that will come as well. So yeah,
that's awesome. Man, I mean, I don't think I actually heard the full story of how you guys met and became a thing and all that. And it's kind of funny how similar our stories are now that you say your story. Yeah, so if you don't have anything else to say, I think this would probably be a good time for me to jump into my story and how I met Michaela.
Yeah, well, I've been talking about myself for so long. We don't have any time left. I'm just joking. No, yeah, this is yeah.
This will be
ahead.
A 3-part episode again.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, yeah. Floor is all yours, my dude.
Sweet. All right, so back to my story. So we're going to start off from when I got divorced. So I got divorced right as I joined the military, or after getting done with training, really. And afterwards, I was telling myself, you know what? I'm done with women. I'm just going to focus on myself and just try to be happy. And I did that for a long time. I didn't date or anything like that, except for like 1 or 2 like small flings that didn't work out for the next 2 years.
Yeah, the worst ones.
And then, yeah, so I met Michaela. Gosh, I'm trying to think of the the year, because I know exactly what day, but I'm trying to think of the year. I believe it was 2016.
Did she not have you all celebrate dating anniversaries?
Sometimes I'm really bad at those. But yeah, so
what day did you get married?
Fuck, I'm kidding. We got married July 14th, 2018. Yes, that's the one. July 14th, 2018.
That sounds about right. You passed the test.
Yeah,
continue.
That's right. But it was on my birthday, so it was when I was trying to better myself. I was like, you know what? I'm done with girls. I don't want to date or all anything like that. I just want to focus on myself. And I went into my English 1 class. Oh. And before I sat down in class, we had to wait for the teacher to come and all that. And it was a community college, so there was, a lot of people that just came there straight out of high school, not knowing what college they wanted to go to or whatnot. and there were actually a couple girls I was talking to outside. I want to say it was like 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember. But yeah, I was talking to a couple girls outside. And then I walk into class, and because all these girls are, talking to me or interested in me and whatnot, they don't sit next to me. So out of all the seats in the class, all the seats in the class are filled except for the seat right next to mine. And then Michaela, who I know now is always late to everything, drives me crazy. But she came in right as like the class was about to start. And the only seat that was there was next to mine. So she decided to sit next to me. And when she first walked in, I immediately looked at her and I was like, oh, she's, a girl that is super rich, not for like her, but like for her daddy's money. And I know that she's going to hear this episode, and I've told her this before already. But yeah, she looked really rich and really spoiled.
Okay, good. So I don't have to look for a new co-host whenever she kills, whenever she would kill you, because she's already heard it.
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Yes, good to know. I may still get beaten though. Anyways, she sits next to me, and the teacher says, "Okay, to start off the class," which I'm not sure if I already said this, but this is my birthday, so I just turned 22, and
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly.
22. Anyways.
So, and it's kind of funny because her birthday is 6 days before mine, but she was 6 days turning 18 when she came into class that day. Ooh. So it always makes you feel like I'm like a cougar in some way. So it's just crazy timing. But the teacher wanted us to introduce ourselves to the person next to us so that we have a friend in class, because she understands that's our first class in college, and it was like a beginner class in college or whatnot. So we wrote down some topics on a piece of paper and we went on discussing with the person next to us. Well, just so happens, me and her have the same topic of if you're a dog or a cat person, which clearly that was important to us. And you may have heard this in the other episode.
Yeah.
But she asked me, so are you a dog or cat person? And I was like, well, I'm a cat person. And she said, well, I'm a dog person. And, that's kind of how it started. And then we didn't really talk to each other for the rest of class. And that moment moving forward, she sat in the chair behind me and not next to me anymore.
I don't want to be associated with that cat guy.
Exactly. And it's funny because I have my cat in my lap right now. But it's just really funny because she actually told me later on that she thought I was like cute or whatnot, but she thought I was a know-it-all because in the class, part of our grade was actually stepping up and answering the teacher's questions when she asked questions to the class. And she graded us all individually based on how much we participated in that class. So I was like, well, I don't want to get a bad grade in the class. So I would always be like one of the first people to step up and answer the questions. And she thought I was a know-it-all. She thought I was like a smarty pants or whatnot, a teacher's pet. And just thought also that I was a womanizer because that day moving forward, the other 3 or 4 girls I was talking to would take turns sitting in that chair next to me and talking to me throughout the class. Exactly. And it's funny because like 2 or 3 of them had boyfriends, but they still chose to sit next to me and talk to me.
Oh, no.
Exactly. I was like a home wrecker or almost or whatnot, but yeah. So did that for a little bit, but after that class, I had my math class, which was downstairs, and it was right next to the class where Michaela had her next class. And me and her were always just sitting in that hallway by ourselves. And I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? We're in the hallway together by ourselves so frequently. I just want to go over and talk to her. So I would always ask her like, hey, how's your day going? Blah, blah. And she's like, oh, it's good. And, you know, if we're coming off of a weekend, I was like, oh, how's your weekend? What'd you do? Anything fun? Blah, blah. And she's like, oh, it was good. Blah, blah. You know, just normal small talk.
Yeah. How's
and you're right. And it got to the point where in the main area of the college that we were going to, they had like a bunch of like paintings and pictures and they're trying to sell them and all that. And I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity for me to know what she likes and doesn't like, because there are like some like Legend of Zelda and some Pokemon pictures and all that and stuff that I liked. And I'm sure that there was enough variety there to where she could say like, oh, I really like that. I really don't like that. So I can get to know her a little bit more, because I was tired of all the small talk. Which, by the way, I picked her out of all the other girls solely on the purpose that I've already been divorced and I wasn't looking for like a fling or anything like that. I was looking for a woman that I wanted to be committed to. Yeah. And out of all the women I was talking to, she was the one giving me the hardest time, and I wanted to make her smile. And that's like the basis of everything. Like I always wanted to make everyone smile in that time of my life, because I was trying to work on my social skills, because I didn't have a lot of those. But I was working on them. I was like, you know, just get people to smile, get people like you or whatnot, and you'll get through it. I just wanted to make her smile, and it was so hard to make her smile, I felt like, because she always looks so damn depressed all the time.
Okay, now it's going to be when she kills you.
Exactly. But she knows she has an RBF, so that plays into it. So yeah, but I did really like her. I wanted to get to know her more because she really intrigued me. So I was like, okay, we have all these pictures out in the lobby. I'm going to ask her, see if she wants to go see some of these pictures. I was like, hey, you have a little bit of time before the next class starts. Would you like to go out there and look at some pictures with me? And later she told me she was really nervous, but in the moment she tells me, oh no, I don't like pictures. I'm sorry.
I don't like pictures.
Yeah. And then now I'm stuck in a situation like, well, now I got to go look at the pictures, because I prefaced this question of saying like, hey, I'm going to go look at the pictures. Would you like to come look with me? And she's like, no, I don't like pictures. And I was like, well, now I can't talk to you like I normally do, because now I have to go look at pictures, because I said I was going to go look at pictures now. So I was like, oh, okay, well, have a great day. And went to go look at pictures by my lonesome. I was like, damn it, Matt, what the fuck did you do? Like, you messed it up.
I'm gonna go find out what she likes. Well, I found out what she doesn't like. Pictures.
Exactly. Doesn't like pictures. And it was really funny too, because there's another instance of when that happened. I believe it was the next class day, and it was after class, and she was sitting in like the seat behind me, and I turn around and I start talking to her a little bit, and I asked her, I was like, oh, how old are you? She's like, oh, I'm 18. How old are you? I was like, oh, I'm 22. And she was like, oh, and just stared at the ground. And the conversation ended right there. And I was like, okay, have a great day.
I'm going to look at some pictures.
Exactly. And I'm like, wow, 2 for 2. Like, this is not going well. So I didn't ask her for her number for a long, long time. And apparently, talking to Michaela now, she always asks me, like, when is this guy going to ask me for my number? Like, I'm waiting. Like, and I'm like, she doesn't like me. So then I finally ask her what her number is, and she gives me the number, and 4 of the numbers are in a row. Like, I think there's like 4 8s in a row, and I'm like, she just gave me a funny number.
Wait, why does this number say 8675309?
Right. But yeah, I thought she gave me a phony number, but I was like, whatever, I'll take the number. And I was like, okay, I'll text you and we can go get some coffee sometime or something like that, so we can get to know each other somewhere. She's like, okay, sure. And in my mind, she said sure, not yes. So I'm like, oh, she doesn't really want to go. And then talking to her before, like after this, she's like, oh yeah, that sure was like a for sure yes. I was like, well, you need to clarify, because I said, hey, do you want to go to coffee? Let me get your number. And you're like, sure. I'm like, yeah. Okay, do you really want to go? But I do the typical thing where you wait one full week before you text her, which apparently drove her mad.
Yeah.
And she's like, this guy's going to ask me for my number and then ghost me for a whole week. And then I finally got the courage. I was like, you know what? It's been about a week. I'm going to go ahead and text her and see if she wants to go get some coffee. So I texted her. I was like, hey, how you doing? And instantly, like not even seconds later, she was like, good, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, she's been waiting for a while.
She's been waiting about a week.
Exactly. And I asked her, I was like, so do you want to go to coffee like we talked about? And she's like, oh, no, I can't. I'm going to coffee with this other guy today.
Oh.
And I was like, really? And she's like, oh, but we're just friends. We can go get coffee another time, me and you. And I was like, sure, whatever. And the whole entire time she's talking to me about it. And she says that it goes terrible because apparently she was going to coffee with an old high school friend who was supposed to just be friends. And long story short, he thought it was a date and took her to go see his mom. And the mom asked her, when are you guys having kids and getting married?
No.
And then he meted up. Yeah. And then at the end of the quote unquote date for him, but not date for her, he goes to pick up a friend where instead of like picking him up and taking him to where he needs to go, picks him up and like they just start smoking cigarettes or what she thinks is cigarettes in the car or outside the car. And then at this point she's pissed and it's like the whole entire day has been wasted and she hasn't had a good time at all. They never even went to go get coffee.
Yeah.
Because the place,
wow.
Because the place that they were supposed to get coffee at had already closed.
Damn.
So she was pissed and she's like, take me home now. And took her home and they never spoke again. And funny story, he went gay after that. So
well, okay then.
Yeah. Yeah, fun story about that. But we finally went out on a date and we went to Zoop, which is like a soup shop, instead of coffee. Mm-hmm. And we immediately hit it off. And actually, let me backtrack it a bit. Before we actually hit it off and started talking, we agreed to meet at Zoop at a specific time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was 20 minutes late. And I thought I got stood up. I was kind of like PO'd. I was like, really? After all this time, you're just going to stand me up? And then she finally comes and she's running super late and she parks in the parking spot right next to me. And we make eye contact before we even like get this date started.
Okay. A quick question.
And, yeah.
Were you still in the parking spot because you had gotten into the restaurant, waited, and then gotten back in your car to leave? Or were you still there waiting?
No. So I got to the parking lot and just was waiting for her. And then when she showed up, then we were going to meet and go inside and all that.
Okay, because that would have been kind of awkward if like you had gotten in the car and you're like, I'm leaving, and then she drove up and made eye contact. And be like, oh.
Right. Come to find out, she was still living at home with her parents, and they were making her do a lot of chores beforehand, and they said that she couldn't leave until she got all the chores done. And they give her like a mountain list of like stuff that needs to get done. So she was like just trying to figure that all out and get to the date as fast as possible. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Let's go ahead and, have our date. And it turned out really good. And then she had to go because I think that they're having like a family dinner thing or whatnot. So she had to go. And yeah, and we started that and everything went well. And then we finally made it official on October 1st, after our third date, where we, did the whole romantic thing where I took her to a really good spot to where there wasn't like a lot of lights, to where we could actually see the stars in the sky. And we sat and watched the stars, and we kissed. It was super romantic or whatnot.
Nice.
Exactly. And then I asked her, I was like, so what are we? And she's like, oh, we're dating. I was like, sweet, we're dating. And the next day was Sunday, and she was like, do you want to come to church with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll go to church with you, because I haven't gone to church a lot in my time. And then she texts me the next morning. She says, so you can't come to church with me. And I was like, why? She's like, because we're breaking up.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And she, come to find out, like after talking to her for a little bit, she made a promise to her girlfriend, which was her best friend at the time, that because she just came out of a high school relationship where she really liked the guy, and then he dumped her, and she was really heartbroken. So they made a promise to God that they would not date for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And after they made that promise to God, the next day was the day that we met.
Ouch.
And yeah, so after that, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I know you made a promise to God, but I don't think that this is a fair promise to make. Like, I don't think that this is a promise that God expects you to keep or should keep. But if you want to keep it, then it's up to you. I'll give you some time to think about it. And she was like, oh, I really like you and all that. And I think that there's definitely something here. Can you wait a year for me? And I told her, I said, no, I can't. I said, I'm in the military. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be here in the next year. So you got to make a decision today. So I'll give you 24 hours to whether you want to be with me or not be with me. And so she took some time, asked her family, and, all her family was like, yeah, go for it. Like, he sounds like a really good guy. Like, go ahead and give him a shot. And pissed off her best friend. Her best friend stopped talking to her because of it.
Mm.
But we started dating again after that. So it's funny how that goes and how much of a hard time she gave me at the beginning. But after that, we turned out really great, and, went on tons of dates and hung out and got engaged, got married. And it's crazy. We didn't plan this at all, but my wedding and your wedding were like 3 weeks apart. We didn't plan it at all.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was totally unplanned.
Yeah, and there is actually a story I need to tell about your wedding before we start going into, my wedding and so on and so forth,
mm-hmm.
which I think you knew, but I was super, super sick.
Yes.
Like on death's door, and I could barely stand, but I was like, you know what? This is my best friend. I'm going to be his best man, and I'm not going to miss this for the world. And I was sick. And I went to the doctor, got tested, and found out it was like a certain like infection. They said, as long as you don't kiss anybody, you should be good. And I was like, great, I'm not going to kiss Ryan.
Yeah, we dodged a bullet there, huh?
Right. But yeah, so I was super sick the whole entire time. And I felt so bad about the toast I gave at your wedding, because I felt like I gave like a half-ass speech. But at the same time, I heard a bunch of ahs in like the crowd. So I was like, I guess I did good enough. Now I can go sit down before I die. But yeah, and Michaela got sick of the same thing because, me and her kiss.
Yeah.
And so we had the same exact thing. So we're both feeling completely miserable that whole entire time.
You kiss your wife? Shit, have I been doing it wrong this whole time?
Shocker. But yeah, so then after that, then we had my wedding, and that was pretty fun. It rained right before our wedding, and we had an outdoor wedding. Yep. So we were thinking oh my gosh, can we even do the wedding? Mm-hmm. And then it cleared up within like 30 minutes or so, and we're like, thank goodness, let's go ahead and continue the wedding.
Yep.
And it was very beautiful because it rained for like 20-30 minutes, and then afterwards there was like a double rainbow in the sky.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I remember the rainbow. Yeah.
Yep. So it was awesome. It was like, it couldn't be any better.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's kind of funny how our stories are similar and different, because you went to Hawaii afterwards, and me and Michaela went to Estes Park in Colorado known for being really cold. So, so you went to a really hot place, and I went to a really cold place. But it was in the summer, so it wasn't too terribly cold. It was like maybe 65, 50 degrees, somewhere around there. And had a really good time in Estes Park. Went and saw the Stanley Hotel, and pretty sure a ghost followed us back to our cabin. So that was fun. We couldn't sleep at all that night. But the biggest thing I can remember about the whole entire time there is that every night we ended it by watching American Ninja Warrior. And I think that was awesome. So we would like go out, do our thing, spend all the money, be the touristy people, buy stuff. And then we come back to our like little cabin area and we just watched American Ninja Warrior. And it was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I've actually been to Estes Park as well. My brother and I took a trip out there with our grandparents one summer when we were younger, and we stayed in a little cabin. It was supposed to be like kind of like a little out of the way and like isolated and stuff, and it ended up being like right off of the highway.
Gosh,
the highway was like cut like right in front of it, which kind of pissed my grandparents off because they were like, this is not what was advertised. And, like it was really loud at night because cars driving by and stuff. But, like we ended up enjoying our time there. And the one thing, like, it's kind of funny you mentioned like the Ninja Warrior thing. Cause like the one thing I remember from like our trip out there in terms of like, we'd be at, at the cabin, like in the evenings and stuff, is we turn on Game Show Network. And so we'd be watching like, primarily it would be like Family Feud. That would be on. And so like, that's what I remember from when we were out there.
Yep. It's funny how that goes. But so I have to tell a funny story about what happened there at the little theater there. So Estes Park is a very small town, as you know. Yeah. And there was a little movie theater where they show like 3 movies and they only have 3 theaters. And it was like very tiny, old timey kind of place. So we decided to go there and see Toy Story 4, I believe. 3 or 4. Whichever Toy Story was coming out around that time. I think in 2018.
I think 4 might have been out around that time because I think 3 came out when we were in high school.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I think it was 4. But we went and saw the movie. Everything was great. We bought popcorn, and I had the popcorn on my lap the whole entire time. We asked for like tons of butter on it, of course. And after the movie, I get up and I walk out, and then the people are like pointing at me and laughing at me. I'm like, why are you laughing at me? And then I look down, and the part where we said we asked for like a lot of butter, apparently these paper bags were not designed to hold butter, but to let butter seep through. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
So I had a giant buttered grease stain on my shorts all the way, and it was so much it almost seeped through to my underwear.
Oh, damn.
And I was just totally embarrassed. I was like, let's get back to the cabin right now so that way I can get my pants cleaned off.
Yeah.
And those pants never truly recovered. So I had to buy new pants there. The pants never recovered, even after all the Dawn dish soap and all the hacks that you see online. It never fully recovered. There was always a giant butter stain there. So those shorts were trashed, and I had to go out and get new shorts. But I didn't have a belt. And the shorts I wanted were slightly too big to wear around the waist, to where I was like, you know what, I need to get a belt. And it was one of those shorts that were like the hiking shorts where you need like a special like super thin belt to put into it.
Yeah.
You can't put like a normal belt in there. And all I had was a normal belt. So I was like, okay. So I looked around and I saw a belt that would look perfect with it on a different set of shorts. And I may or may not have put that belt onto those shorts and bought the shorts.
It's called creativity. So, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's creativity. Is it stealing? Maybe. Maybe not. I still bought the shorts. And they were super overpriced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know how it goes. I bought a backpack for the trip to Hawaii. And that backpack probably cost me like one of my livers. I'm sure. I still use that backpack because like I don't want that money to go on a waste.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And I still have those shorts to this day too, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. The backpack looks like it looks like it came like right out of like a kid's room. So it's like a multi like bright colors with like red and like blue and like gray and stuff, and like yeah, it looks like it should belong to like a third grader, but nope, it belongs to me.
Meanwhile, there's a third grader that doesn't have a backpack that's like, I wish I had a backpack like that.
Like, Mommy, since we can't afford the Ninja Turtle backpack, I want that one. Well, the weird adult man took it already, buddy. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so after that, you know, we lived happy lives, and I, as you know, got out of the military. We bought our first house, and then had our daughter, and here we are. So
yeah. Yay!
So yeah, good times. We went through all our stories in one episode. I can't believe it.
Yeah, no joke.
Now let's talk about the second part of our episode.
Yes.
About Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, the holiday that keeps on giving.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, because I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but
it sucks.
I personally, I don't like Valentine's Day. I don't think it should be a holiday at all. Like, we don't get time off from work for it, so why is it even a holiday?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that gets me the most is it's so commercialized. Like,
yes.
Especially being a man, because you see all these advertisements of like flowers and chocolates and reserve your seating and, you know, all that for this day, and you have to reserve it like so far in advance. Otherwise you don't have a seat, and if you don't have that, then you're a terrible husband or boyfriend, you know. Mm-hmm. And they harp on that, like, oh, men, you have to spend a lot of money on a woman to show that you love them. And you don't see a lot of women doing stuff for men. Like, yeah, women do some stuff for men, but typically it's, in my eyes, the man's job to arrange the date, take your lady on a date and all that. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's very commercialized to the point where people know what's expected of it. And I don't necessarily need a specific day to show my wife that I love her.
Mm-hmm.
I like the surprise factor.
Yeah.
I like to surprise her, like, hey, get your shoes on and like wear a dress or whatnot, and we're going out, and her like guessing the whole way, like, where are we going? What are we doing or whatnot?
We're gonna go look at some pictures.
Me just exactly. Got you now. No.
You're gonna sit there. You're gonna look at them.
But no, so
you're gonna put your glasses on and see them in 4K. Damn it!
My eyes.
It's so real. It looks like it's gonna just pop out and touch me, and it's like a dude in a doorway. He just like grabs you and like runs off.
That's so funny. But yeah, so I mean, I like the surprise factor. I don't necessarily like being told specifically, like, hey, it's Valentine's Day, so make sure you do all this stuff for your lady and all that. And don't get me wrong, do I still do stuff for Michaela? Absolutely. Do I tell her every single year that we're not going to celebrate Valentine's Day, so she doesn't need to give me anything? Absolutely. But I still get her something every Valentine's Day. Just say, like, hey, I still love you. And this time I got like a personalized mug for her that has her and the dogs on it and says that she's the best dog mom and human mom and all that. So she liked that a lot. But I just like that surprise factor. And she always gets so mad at me. She's like, you keep telling us you don't want to do any gifts for Valentine's Day, but here you are still giving me gifts for Valentine's Day. I was like, yeah, because I love you.
Yeah, it's my choice, damn it.
Exactly, it's my choice. It's not because society has told me that I need to do this.
Yeah,
but, yeah, and then looking from the other side of it, I also feel like it's a day that makes single people feel like complete shit.
Whoa, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Because I can tell you, for those 2 years I didn't date, I felt like complete shit, and the only thing I thought about was my ex-wife and how bad she hurt me. And instead of being able to go out and have a drink or whatever, or like hang out with friends or whatnot, everyone is out hanging out with their lady friend or guy friend, and doing the couple thing, or people are asking people, "Can you be my Valentine?" And people say yes, or people say no, and all that. And I think it's overrated overall. I mean, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, no, like I completely agree. Especially on like so I didn't really care prior to, like, I would say probably high school. It's just kind of like, oh, cool. It's a day, like, it's like pre-Easter. It's like a day where we get like candy. Cool.
Exactly. Yep.
But like, yeah, but it was like in high school, it was like, okay, well, I started to have like a little bit more like social interaction with like just different people in general. And so like, I had friends, and some of those friends happened to be ladies, and every yeah, how did that happen? But anyways, and I tend to have found myself, I can't speak English today. I don't know what's going on. I would tend to find myself, yes, I tend to find myself, I would tend to find myself repeating this like 3 times. I tend to find myself
4
during that time finding, yes, please keep count. That's great. I would find that there would be somebody that I would kind of have a little bit of a crush on. During that time, because what high schooler doesn't have a crush on somebody? And so it would get to be like kind of that time of the year, and like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, and they would do all of like like Valentine's Day, buy a crush for your crush, like the crush soda.
Remember that?
Yeah. Or like they would do like the everybody would be required to, well, maybe not necessarily required, but you could take the like compatibility test, and it would like tell you who in your class you were most compatible with, like romantically, and who you were most compatible with in your class, as a friend, and who in the school you were most compatible with in those 2 areas or whatever. And you'd get different results like every year.
I don't think I've ever had to take that test.
Yes. We were at a private school, and so nothing was private. Hence the name. But
Right.
Yeah, so like that was one of the things that like we would do every year, is like, and it was done as like a fundraiser, because you'd have to pay like I think like $5 to get like the results of the test or something, which is a bit weird, but that's whatever. But yeah, like
they're just trying to get your money,
basically. Yeah, so it was like I would never get anybody that like I was actually romantically interested in as like somebody compatible, and then I would never get anybody that I would ever be friends with like as a friend, like compatibility on there. And so like, yeah, they were always just like super like whatever, but still like taking those types of things and like doing the like buying a crush for your crush, or like those types of things would always sort of bring out like I'm in high school, I'm like whatever teen years old, and nobody loves me. Yep,
exactly.
Yeah, and so like it made me feel like crap every single year, and then in like the spring, it was, or almost summer, it was like April, May, somewhere around there, and I started dating my first girlfriend. That was of my senior year, so I didn't get to do any of that stuff in high school, like at all. I mean, I would buy like the crush bottles for like my friends. So normally I would spend like, I think it was like $1 per crush or something like that. So I'd spend like, $10 or $12 and just get one for like all of my friends, so I didn't leave anybody out. But it was,
I didn't get a crush.
Yeah. Well, if I could have shipped it to Midwest City, I would have done that for you,
right,
buddy. But yeah, they kind of just passed him out in class, so I do apologize about that.
It's all good. You owe me like a lot of crushes now.
Yeah, I'll buy a 6-pack on Amazon and have it shipped to your house. Does that sound good?
Sweet. I like orange.
Orange, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the flavor they used. Anyways,
nice.
So I got to college, and it was like I actually started to get kind of excited because like I got to be like January, and then like very very beginning of February, and I was like, oh, I get to have my first Valentine's Day like with a significant other. Oh my gosh! And like the week before, I get dumped, and so all hopes of
All your
that
hopes and dreams get shattered.
were immediately shattered. And it would be like another year before I actually had like my first quote unquote proper Valentine's Day. Within like the next like 2 or 3 years after that, I got to be in the exact same sort of like thinking where, yeah, it's stupid how like we have this holiday that is specifically like every other holiday is commercialized to an extent too, like Easter and 4th of July and Christmas, like Thanksgiving, like they're all commercialized, but like Valentine's Day is only commercial essentially.
Yeah, there's like no deeper meaning behind it or anything like that.
like with Easter and with Christmas, like there are traditions that, and even 4th of July, like there's traditions that you can do with your family that do not cost you money. You can go to the park and watch fireworks on the 4th of July. You cook certain meals and spend time together for Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff and whatnot. But like the only things you do for Valentine's Day are you go out to eat where you spend money, or like you go to the store and buy flowers or chocolate or little stuffed animals or whatever, which cost money. Like it's literally all you do. And then much like you were saying, it's really weird because obviously like there are like same-sex couples and everything, and like that's become more normal now, but like for some reason, like I can't even tell you if I have ever seen like a single Valentine's Day commercial. I've seen Christmas commercials and like commercials for other holidays where they'll have like that representation in there, and that's great. But I don't think I've ever seen a Valentine's Day commercial that's been like, hey, get something for your significant other, and it's been a same-sex couple.
I don't think I've seen that either.
I don't think I ever have. And I'm sure maybe like some exist, but it's not as like prevalent as like it is in other for other things. And so like I think there's definitely a point there where it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe like it like, oh well, we can get guys, like straight guys that are in relationships with women that are most likely to to fuck up somehow like before Thanksgiving, to where they have to go quote unquote the extra mile and buy a lot of chocolates or flowers or like whatever, because they normally don't do that. And Valentine's Day is the one day a year that we can sort of like get them to, and that kind of thing. And like it's also ridiculous because like you'll see the same chocolates or the same candies and the same sets of flowers much cheaper, like literally the week after. And for like the rest of the year, they will literally mark that crap up just around Valentine's Day because they know there's going to be people that go out and buy it. And it's because
I honestly think it's because like around that time, like a lot of people are asking other people to be their Valentine, and they're trying to impress them.
Yeah.
So they try to impress them by showering them with like gifts and like all that, and they just make their money off it. And it's crazy. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah. I also feel like too, it's one of the like probably 2 or 3 holidays where couples that have been together for a long time, there's perhaps like an expectancy of, oh, this might be when they pop the question. And so let's say Valentine's Day comes up and the guy does not pop the question. Well, now he done fucked up. He's got to go to the store and do something to fix it. And maybe that's like a part of that sort of mentality too, is like having to correct that problem when they don't pop the question like they quote unquote maybe should, or whatever. As cliche as that is, but yeah, and it's just like no sane person, like just like with you and Michaela, like Mandy and I will still do stuff for Valentine's Day. We always go out to eat, but we never go out to eat the day of, because why would you want to like go and try to have a romantic dinner when old man Steve at the table next to you has his elbow in your, chicken tenders? Like, no.
Those are my chicken tendies.
Yeah. Keep your elbow out of my fucking ranch. And then you slap him up on like the Oscar stage.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and there's so many people and the lines to get into places, and like it's terrible. So like usually we'll do like the weekend before, the weekend after, or maybe a few days after or whatever, and we'll go and get dinner, for Valentine's Day. And I'll typically get her like maybe like a little like stuffed thing with a coffee mug, or and some flowers or something like that, like something a little bit small. And she'll typically kind of just do something completely random for me. Like I think last year for Valentine's, she bought me a Magic the Gathering pre-built commander deck.
Oh, nice.
She went to Walmart and just bought me that because she knew that I was like interested in this particular one. So she went and bought it for me just out of the blue. And it's like, technically that was for Valentine's Day, but like it was like 2 weeks before Valentine's Day even happened. So it was like, oh, just an out of the blue, I'm doing this because I love you thing. And that should be more normalized, not, oh, let's do this thing on this holiday that is a holiday for some weird reason,
Exactly.
Yeah. I mentioned before in the first episode, right, that I'm Catholic. And like there's a lot of like historical reasons for like a lot of holidays. Whether or not like those reasons are still kind of connected for the most part depends. But like, what the hell is Valentine's Day? like literally what it is like, so it's February 14th, which is in the Catholic Church the feast day of Saint Valentine. There was 2 different Saint Valentines, so I believe technically they're both celebrated on that day, but it's usually attributed to one of them because he's like the patron saint of like romance and lovers. That's basically the only connection there. There's no like, and there's no particular reason of like, why is this like an American holiday?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
it's to get our money, basically.
Yeah. It's like, oh, people are human beings. Human beings like romance and love. Let's capitalize on that. Like,
exactly.
That's
make a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, exactly. We're the same 2 people that are in every Hallmark movie, where one of them moves from the big city to the country and falls in love with, the tool man who is shirtless is for a scene for some reason while he's like building a house. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, that's basically. I can like honestly think of like 3 or 4 different movies you're talking about right now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's so bizarre to me, and it's like it's extremely foreign, and I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I personally think the best love story I've seen is the Ryan Reynolds movie with Deadpool, the very first one. Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
Oh yeah, like way better love story than any other love story I've seen, and it's funny. Yep. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that is true.
Maybe too many sex scenes, but it just goes to show you that like, and it's also really funny that we're talking about Deadpool at the same time, because the way that they advertised the first Deadpool movie, I think it was around Valentine's Day. I think it came out on Valentine's Day, didn't it?
Somewhere around that time, I think, yeah.
And they made all these like fake advertisements about like, oh, it's a Valentine's Day movie, like take your love out with you. And I remember that advertisement.
Yeah.
It all comes around.
Have you seen Deadpool 2?
I have not. I want to.
Okay, in my personal opinion, it's better than the first one. The first one's really good, but the second one is also really good. The way that they kind of took a similar kind of approach with the second one that they did the first one, and it's like, it's rated R, but they're like they approach it of like it's a family movie.
Oh god,
because it's like quote unquote about family. It's great.
Oh yeah, so awesome. But yeah, so I mean, I think that pretty much sums up everything about how we feel about Valentine's Day.
Yep.
I do have a really kind of funny, depressing story about Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Before we start getting into the closing comments and all that, I remember, gosh, what year was that? I want to say it was like maybe 2nd or 3rd grade, maybe after that. I can't remember. And I had a crush on this girl. Her name was Josephine.
I remember Josephine. I made that sound creepy. I'm sorry.
I remember Josephine.
What was the licking the lips and the come hither finger? Yeah. No, not that. No.
No, so I remember having this huge crush on this girl named Josephine. You know, they had the little candygrams where you could send candygrams to your crush or whatnot. So I was like, I'm going to send one to Josephine. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show, even with the gender differences, how, you know, we're treated differently, because I remember getting her a specific one and like, oh my gosh, she's going to like it and she's going to know I like her and maybe something will come of it. But some other guy decided to ask her to be her Valentine, and she got tons of Valentines. Like, she got tons of candygrams. I want to say that she got like 6 or 7 candygrams.
Yeah.
And I got one, and it was from you.
Oh my god, for real?
Yeah.
It's really fun. I don't remember that, but that is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, because I remember it, because I was like, everyone was reading their names and they were like, another one for Josephine, another one for Josephine. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just got so sad and depressed. And they're like, Matthew, you have one. I was like, really? I have one? And I look at it, it was from you. And you're like, yeah, happy Valentine's Day, buddy.
That just goes to show like how deep this brotherhood runs.
Exactly. And I was like, Ryan, damn it. I wanted one from Josephine.
Well, you'll just have to settle for me. Just like my wife did.
Oh, it's funny. Oh gosh. It's funny how that whole entire thing with Josephine ended too, because I remember the last time that I saw her before she moved somewhere, and she may remember me, she may not, but probably not. But it was around the time we got our yearbook photos, and we did like a play where we're like a Bugs play or something like that. And we had like little headbands on with like our antennas, and I had her sign my yearbook because I was like, I'll have her sign my yearbook. And as she's signing my yearbook, I look over to see what she's writing, and our antennas get stuck together. And so we spent like a couple minutes trying to get our antennas untangled or whatnot, and then she was like, okay, bye, I won't see you again, so have a good time, blah blah. And I read what she put in there, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was along the lines about how she like had a crush on me too, and like put like hearts and all that, and I was like, I lost an opportunity. Yeah, you that's Valentine's Day for you. Yep. It's just a lot of hurt emotions, and even if you are with somebody, it's a lot of expectations on you on that day.
Yep.
And so many ways it can go wrong, and that results in big companies making more money from you, which I totally do not agree with.
Were you talking about just life in general right now? Or were you talking about Valentine's Day? I don't know anymore.
After thinking on my comments, it might be over everything in general, but specifically Valentine's Day, I do not enjoy.
Valentine's Day, the holiday that's a metaphor for life.
Right. Oh, gosh. But yeah, those are our thoughts on Valentine's Day. So let's, I say we start wrapping it up and closing comments. So do you have any closing comments for us, Ryan?
Yeah. love your husbands, love your wives. Just fuck capitalism. I'm just kidding.
Right? Why did I think of like hide your children, hide your wives?
That was not intentional, but yeah. I ain't got no time for that. But yeah,
so
basically that. I love them every day of the year, and get them stuff whenever. Don't let big corporations take your money. Well, I mean, I guess we can't really avoid that, but don't give them extra money for no reason when you don't have to. Like, get your chocolates on sale after after Thanksgiving, after Valentine's Day. Get your flowers when they're normal price. You'll thank me later. Ding! 2 thumbs up.
Oh yeah, and I will end this podcast with one more quick story from when I went to the grocery store this morning.
Okay.
Just to show you how commercialized Valentine's Day is. Mm-hmm. So I went to the grocery store just to get like a few little items that we needed for the house. And as I'm walking, this grocery store, it's called King Soopers, has a flower department. And at the flower department, I kid you not, because it's Starbucks that's inside the store and the flower department right next to each other. Mm-hmm. There were so many Valentine's Day balloons, it was literally covering up the Starbucks. And they had flowers everywhere to where you wouldn't even know a Starbucks was even there. And it's funny because I saw that and I was like, commercialized, like that is like complete bullshit. And I turn around and across the way from me is the alcohol aisle, and they just restocked the alcohol aisle with a giant tower of beer. So I'm like, oh, you have one place for couples to go get their couple stuff, and you have one place for single people to go when they're depressed as fuck.
Yeah, it's right there. So when the single people see all the balloons and stuff, they get sad and turn around to walk away, and then they see the beer and they're like, oh, I could just drink my sorrows away.
Exactly. And funny enough, I got beer that day. So funny. But yeah. So that's life.
Yep.
But with that being said, friends, that is the end of our podcast. We will see you next time. And as always, stay tired.
Stay tired.